Hey everyone, welcome back. It's been a long time, but I am so happy to be here talking with you all again. So, welcome again to another episode of Undeniably Nikki. You guys, I have missed you so much. I have missed coming on here and just, shooting the breeze and chatting pretty much with myself, but then I get your feedback after you guys watch it. But as you guys know, there has been so much going on in just the world, this country, the world, just everything has been crazy. Who would have thought that when we all, toasted to 2020 or did whatever we did that night on New Year's Eve, that 2020 would be what it is today. Anyway, I can't even get into it. Like I said, you guys know what's going on. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of do this episode just to, let you know that I'm back. So if you guys don't mind, first, just make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. Just make sure you hit the bell, ding, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done it. But I am definitely going to be back to trying to do my episodes at least once a week. But this episode, my main focus is honestly, guys, I miss you so much. And I just kind of want to, just kind of tell you what's been going on and why I have been missing in action for 2 months. Yeah. I didn't even realize how long it's been just because with everything that's going on, you just kind of lose track of time. But I actually looked at my last post, looked at the date for it, which was, I think it was the second weekend of June. Looked at the date for that, and then I realized oh my God, that was 2 months ago. So anyway, I just have to let y'all know your girl has been going through. I have been going through so much, which has caused me to be out of commission. So I just kind of want to start out with what first took me out of commission. Okay. So basically, after everything went down with George Floyd, after that happened, that was actually my last post that I did, talking about his death and systemic racism and, how everyone needs to do their part to do better. People need to stand up, call it out, call it by name and say what it is and realize that there is a real issue in this country. And, him dying, it just I can't explain it. I think it's just something that I feel like all Black people felt that day. And not just Black people, because I think that was his death was the aha moment for a lot of white people. Aha, this is really happening. People, they're not just blowing things out of proportion. This is just an injustice that continues to happen to Black people every single day. So it was just something with that though, that just, I don't want to say it broke me, because I don't think it broke me, but my spirit just felt so damaged. My spirit was just, it was broken. My spirit was broken. I had truly come to the point, because I had a lot of incidents that happened too, where I saw people who were my friends, who were white or of other races, who were not standing up and calling it out and saying what it was. And they were silent. And I'm just you can't be silent. You cannot be silent about this. Your silence does not work. Your silence is no longer accepted. And it's the thing is, it's I never really accepted the silence, but you kind of knew certain friends where you're that they're not prejudiced. They're probably not speaking out because of the type of job they have and it'll get them in trouble. But honestly, there comes a point where you have to choose doing what's right over trying to appease people that you work for. So it was just a lot dealing with that, and a lot of, I lost some friendships through this because I'm not accepting the crap of, I'm not a racist. Yeah, okay, you're not a racist, but are you anti-racist? So that was, plaguing me, dealing with all of that. And like I said, my spirit was just so broken, and just my heart was broken. And I was just so hurt that these injustices keep happening to my people and happening against us. And I was just tired of it. And I was angry. Y'all, I was so angry. I was so angry. I'm still, I still have anger in me about everything. I'm not quite as angry as I was, but it was like a whole nother level. And I had never seen myself be that angry. I think since, I lost my mom, and the part of grief that where you have anger sets in, that was the last time I was like that angry. I just had rage inside of me, and I didn't really know how to deal with it because I'm, anyone who knows me, I'm a happy-go-lucky person. I'm happy. To wake up every day and I wasn't feeling happy. I was feeling discouraged. I was feeling just very, feeling like I was failing because I can only do my part to a certain amount because I'm a journalist. And so I'm supposed to, stay impartial. But like I told my boss, I was like, I know I don't have I know I don't have much time left in this business because I can't sit back and not participate in protest, which I wanted to get out there so bad and join protest, the protest for George Floyd. I was like, I can't sit back as a Black woman and, act like it doesn't affect me when it affects me greatly, And so I was just in a space of just despair, y'all. Like, I can't even, I had to reach out to my therapist and I was just like, I'm just really struggling. I'm hurting. So you had that. And then you had like everything going on with coronavirus. So, we're all quarantined and not really seeing each other, not really, being around people who we love, giving hugs and, being able to like physically touch the people we love. That was very hard for me too, because I'm a very social person. I can be by myself. I love my me time. But majority of my time, I do spend it like being with my friends and being with my family and things like that. So that was hard for me too, that I had to be, distant and couldn't really be around people that I loved. And then, so I was dealing with, a little bit of, anxiousness about that. And I can even remember clearly one day my sister literally came in the living room, my sister, by the way, during this whole like COVID-19 and quarantine was loving life. Like, cause she's a loner. So she doesn't want to be around people. She, likes being by herself. She only want to be around people when she want to be around people. And for the most part, she'd rather be by herself. So, I remember she came in one day and she just saw me and she just looked at me and she's like, sister, you just look so sad. And she's like, I know this is hard for you. She's like, because you're a people person and, you love being around people. She was like, so she literally came over. My sister, who is not a hugger, I'm such a hugger, came over and gave me like the biggest hug. And she was just like, it's okay. Like, cause she just saw the heaviness on me. And this was before George Floyd even passed. This was just kind of like in May, like the beginning of May, I started feeling the effects of being in quarantine and stuff. And at first I was like, I'm okay, because like, as much as I love my friends, like they like to do something all the time. And sometimes I have to be like, y'all, like I need a break. I need my me time. So I was enjoying actually kind of having that me time. But around May, it started hitting me where I was just like, man, I really miss being around people. I miss being able to go out and do stuff. And, so anyway, so that happened. And then, so like I said, George Floyd passed, and that was just another layer of just like, what the F is going on, that was on me. And then, so I on June 19th, I went to a Juneteenth celebration, and, that was kind of like my first big event that I went to, like outside the house. And, I had my mask on and everything. It was outside and inside. We stayed outside majority of the time because, I had done my research on COVID, and I knew that, that if you're outside, it's harder to catch because the virus actually breaks up in the air, the outside air, then in the closed space air, it like kind of stays and sticks around. So anyway, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go to Juneteenth. You know, my sister's like, let's go to Juneteenth. I'm like, yeah, I'll go to it. Plus I needed that, y'all. I needed to just be around my people because I was just like I said, I was just in so much pain from George Floyd and dealing with that. And I was just like, I just want to be around my people. I just want to be around beautiful, amazing Black people, and, you know, just look at them in the eye. And you know how we'll just kind of look at each other. We ain't got to know each other, but you just give each other that look where, you know, you just kind of feel each other's feeling and what you're feeling in that moment. So I was just like, I just need that. I need to be around my people, you know. So my sister and I, we went to Juneteenth, and I was so excited, and the vibe was just so good. And there were like numerous events that were happening around Las Vegas. And I had my mask on. I was being safe because I know how I am. I did hug a couple of people because it was kind of just that moment of, you know, you Black, I'm Black, we love each other, I appreciate you type thing. You know how you just kind of look at your people and you kind of have that moment. Black folks understand. So anyway, so it's kind of like I can't explain it. It's like you kind of like, okay, that's family. Like you have that moment with each other. And so there were like a couple of people that I hugged. You know, one, I complimented him on his dashiki. He gave me a hug, you know, I was like, thanks sis, gave me a hug. And then this other guy, then I just kind of was talking to him. And then when we were done talking, you know, it was just like, we felt a comfortableness with each other, gave each other a hug, goodbye. Like I said, had my mask on the entire time, you know. So we went to that. That was such an amazing night. Me and my sister and then one of her coworkers went with us. That was such a great night. Was out for like maybe 3 hours, not even long. Went back home. The next day, I had an appointment to get my hair done. So I go in to get my hair done. I went to get it colored because I hadn't had any color in it since like last year. So I needed to get my roots touched up and everything. So I went and got color. And then I didn't even get to floss, y'all. I didn't even get to floss my hairstyle. I got it straightened and everything. It was dope. It was looking fly. I'm gonna insert a picture so y'all can see it, okay? But anyway, so I went and got my hair done, was at the hairdresser all day, because y'all know that's how it is with us women. Sometimes we'll be in the hairdresser all day, especially us Black girls. That's just how it is. So anyway, I go to the hairdresser. They're following all the protocols, you know, it's social distancing that's happening. I have my mask on, my hairdresser has his mask on. Everyone has masks on, okay? I get to the hairdresser at 10:30 a.m. I leave at 5:30 p.m. because that's when he's done with my hair. I have real thick hair, y'all, so it takes a long time to straighten it and everything. So anyway, I go home. Everything's good. I take a couple of pictures, put them on Instagram because I'm feeling myself and I ain't been nowhere else, so got to take advantage of it. And I know I'm not going anywhere else. So anyway, y'all, next thing you know, they kind of started incorporating us back into coming work. I've been working from home since March, but once the protests and stuff started breaking out everywhere over the death of George, the murder, let's call it what it is, the murder of George Floyd, they started incorporating some of us digital people back into the station, you know, on a rotation schedule, you know, because we had to make sure we're there to be able to get up these live pictures of the protests and things like that. So I went to work on that Monday. And on that Monday, I had like a little bit of a cough. And, you know, I didn't think too much of it because, you know, sometimes I get a cough from allergies and everything. So I didn't think much of it. And then on Tuesday, same thing. I had a little bit, you know, cough. Cough was starting to sound a little different. On Wednesday, I go into work. My cough is completely different. By I'm going to say the middle of my day, it's like hurting my chest like a little bit as I'm coughing. So I immediately think, because I get bronchitis every year or every other year, I get a sinus infection and bronchitis. I always get that. So I immediately think to myself, oh God, I'm getting bronchitis. Because the way the cough felt, it felt like how I feel when I get bronchitis. So one of my bosses like heard my cough and she's like, I don't like that cough. And I was like, I think I'm getting bronchitis. And she was like, oh my God, you need to go take care of that right away because, you know, the last time you had bronchitis, it put you in the hospital. And I was like, yes, I know. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to urgent care tomorrow before work just to get it checked out and nip it in the bud before it gets bad. And so the day goes on a little longer. She's like, I think you should go home. And I was like, I think it's my bronchitis cough. I think I'm okay. And she's like, yeah, but I don't like the way that sounds. I think you should go home. So I'm like, okay. So at this point, I only had like an hour left of work. So I kind of started packing up or whatever. I ended up leaving only 30 minutes early. Okay. So I get home. By the time I get in the car, I'm driving home. And as I'm driving home, I just start feeling like crappy. So I'm like, So I'm like, whatever. So I get home. By the time I park my car, y'all, I kid you not, and I live about 25 minutes from work. I park my car, 25, 30, depending on the day. I park my car. I sit there and I'm like, I can't even explain what came over me, that I just felt horrible. So I'm like, oh Lord. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, woo. What just happened? Like, it was just weird how it just hit me, y'all. And I was just like, what's going on? So I get out the car. I drag myself into the house because I was going to be working at home on Thursday and Friday. Those are my 2 days to work at home. So I grab my laptop and everything, and I'm like, dragging in. And so I see my sister and I'm like, hey, sister. And she speaks. And then I go, I said, I don't feel good. I said, I think I'm gonna go lay down for a little bit. So I went and laid down, fell straight to sleep, woke up in the middle of the night, burning up with a fever, burning up, like shivering uncontrollably. I'm so cold, I'm freezing. And I'm like, but my sheets soaked in sweat, but I'm freezing. But my sheets are soaked in sweat. So, immediately I knew I had a fever. So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like shivering, and I put like an extra blanket on my bed or whatever. And I tried to change my sheets, y'all, but I didn't have no energy. So don't judge me. So what I did was I went to the bathroom. I let the fan blow on my sheets to dry because I had no energy. And then I got back in the bed with that extra blanket, and I was just like literally like shivering. So I wake up the next morning and I still have a fever, but it wasn't as crazy as it was like in the middle of the night. So I go to urgent care, and I tried to go to Minute Clinic. That's where I tried to go first, the CVS Minute Clinic, because at this point I'm like, something is up. I tried to go to them. I'm like, I think I'm getting sick. At this point, I'm still not even thinking coronavirus. I'm just thinking I'm getting a sinus infection or something. Go to the Minute Clinic, tried to get in. They're like, no, you got to have an appointment to get in. So I'm like, oh crap. So then I go online on the app. I'm in my car. I'm on the phone trying to fill out this stuff to see if I can get an appointment. And they're like, nope, your symptoms sound like COVID. You can't get an appointment till you get a test. So then I'm like trying to look everywhere to see how I can make an appointment to get a test, go somewhere and get a test. I can't get an appointment anywhere. So at that point, I just leave. I come back home because I didn't have to be at work until 11:30 that day, like log on to work. So I come back home. I start looking online. I just feel awful. I'm like out of breath to just do anything, not even really realizing it. The cough is hurting my chest. So I told my boss, hey, just a heads up, I'm not feeling well at all. I'm trying to get an appointment, to get checked out. And I said, I think I'm going to get a COVID test because something's not right. So I called urgent care and I'm like, hey, can I get an appointment? I think my bronchitis has come back. And I just kind of want to nip it in the bud before it gets worse. And, I had a fever this morning, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, so do you want a COVID test? And I was like, well, I don't know. I said, we can just see, because I think it's just bronchitis. Because at that point, I didn't feel as bad as I felt in the middle of the night, in the beginning of the early morning. I didn't feel as bad. So they're like, okay, we can get you in at 3. So I text my boss. I was like, hey, I'm going to take my lunch at 3. because they're gonna see me and, I'm gonna get checked out. So I go to urgent care, and I go inside and I've got my mask on. I'm sitting and I'm waiting for my appointment. They call me back and they're like, so what are your symptoms? And I tell them, I have this cough, it's hurting my chest. I have a fever. I had the cold sweats. I was shivering. My body aches a little bit. At this point, I'm still not realizing that I'm listing the symptoms of coronavirus. Like any other time, Cardi B in my head, like coronavirus. So why she went in my head this time? I don't even know. I'm still thinking it's a sinus infection and bronchitis. So they get me back there. The doctor comes in and she goes, okay, so what's going on? So I tell her, and then she starts, checking me out, and she looks at my throat and she's like, oh, I don't like how your throat looks. So let's do a strep test too. Are your tonsils normally this big? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. And I was like, but my throat does hurt. She's like, so you have a sore throat too? And I was like, yeah. I was like, well, I just thought I'm thinking I'm like thirsty or something because I haven't had water in a while. She's like, uh-oh. She's like, okay. She goes, based on your symptoms, and she's like, and based on after me checking your lungs, I don't hear anything that sounds like bronchitis, because bronchitis apparently is really noisy in your lungs. She's like, I think you have COVID. And then y'all, had the nerve to tell my doctor, I said, no, I think it's bronchitis and a sinus infection. Like, where they do that? Like, who tells the expert who has a degree in diagnosing people that, no, I think it's this. So she was like, oh, really? And she just kind of laughed a little bit. She didn't even get offended. She goes, well, do you always get a sinus infection and bronchitis? And I said, yeah, whenever I get sick, that's what I get. She goes, well, with COVID, the reason this virus is so hard to pin down is because when it gets in someone, it literally copies the symptoms of something that the person gets. So that's why some people are having symptoms of diarrhea and vomiting, because they probably get stomach flus all the time. She's like, and like you, if you always get a sinus infection and bronchitis, your symptoms are going to mimic that. And I was like, oh. So she was like, so we're going to do a test. And I said, oh, you can do a test right now. She's like, yep, we can do the test right now. I was like, I don't need an appointment because everywhere else you got to have an appointment. She's like, no, because I went to urgent care. And so it's like my insurance paying for it. I didn't need an appointment. So she's like, we're going to do a test right now. And so they did the test. Y'all, when I say they tried to touch my brain with that Q-tip, they tried to touch my brain. Y'all, they put the Q-tip so far up and then had the nerve to tell me, now when we get in there, we gonna swivel it around, counting 15 times. 1, 2, 3. So she did this each nostril, might I add. So they put the Q-tip in, it went up far. It's very uncomfortable. My eyes are watering and I'm like, oh, and they have you lay all the way back because that's how up in there they got to get. And she's rotating the Q-tip and she's like, 1. The person who came in to give me the test, which is another person who, by the way, came in a hazmat outfit. No lie. So she comes in and she's like, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are long circles of getting. And then she gets to 15 and she goes, 15. And I'm like, that was 16, 17, 18. What are you talking about, 15? So she did that on each nostril. So they do that. The doctor comes back in. She's like, okay. She's like, go home. You need to quarantine right away. Go straight home. Don't go anywhere else. Just quarantine until we get your result. Until you get results saying you're negative, you need to be in quarantine. So I tell my boss, I just had to have a COVID test, blah, blah, blah. So I get my results. This was a Thursday. I got my results that Monday morning. I literally was quarantined, stayed in the house the entire weekend, the rest of the day, didn't do anything. I had to call my sister, by the way, on Thursday. I called her at work immediately and let her know. She had to tell her boss. Her boss then was like, okay, you got to go home until we get a result saying that your sister's negative. So I get my results on Monday, and then on Monday, they're like, you have coronavirus. You were positive. So at this point, I've gone through the entire weekend just feeling so bad, not feeling any, like, just feeling bad, literally losing my breath. Like my bathroom is attached to my bedroom. So to walk from my bed to the bathroom, I was out of breath. So that was like freaking me out. The chest pains were freaking me out. So I, at this point, I had kind of resided to myself by like Saturday, and I told my sister, I was like, yeah, I think I have it. Like, based on, just because I just started getting worse and worse, and I just was not feeling good at all. So yeah, they gave me the results on Monday. I let my bosses know. They of course had to do the contact tracing and, just kind of be like, okay, well, how many employees have you been in contact with? Or, just know all this stuff so that they can then inform those employees. Those employees that, a person, they didn't say me, but they did inform that a person at Channel 8 did test COVID. And that was the first case, of course, because my luck. So anyway, so that is why I've been missing in action too. I had coronavirus. And y'all, it put me on my butt for almost 4 weeks. Like literally 2 days shy of a month. It just took a lot out of me, and I was so sick. I was not as sick as people, thank Jesus, thank the Lord, who had to go into the hospital, and I'm very grateful of that, and I understand how blessed I am. But I have my struggles. This is no joke. I didn't put on social media that I had it or anything like that, because it was just, it's private, it's medical. I told my family, like my close family, and then my grandma decided to go and tell everybody in the church so I could be on the prayer list. No, I love you, Medea. I'm just playing. But she did tell her prayer warriors, which I appreciate, so that they could pray for me. But yeah, I didn't put it on social media because I just, I didn't feel like I wanted to do that. But anyway, I'm speaking about it now just because I feel like I owe you guys an explanation of where I've been and why I've been missing in action. And I just want to just let you know that I've just been going through a lot. I've been dealing with a lot, and I don't mind being vulnerable and open with you guys about what I've been dealing with, just with everything, because I think, if more people were to open up and talk about things that they struggle with and or have been going through, it could just help so many people that we just don't even know it could help. So, as far as COVID is concerned, that's delicious. As far as COVID is concerned, I just kind of want to give you guys like a little update on like just exactly what I felt. So I had pretty much all the symptoms except for vomiting and diarrhea. Those are only two that I didn't have. I was extremely, what do you call it? Fatigue, extremely fatigued. Like some days, because on the days that I felt okay, I would still try to work. So I wouldn't blow all of my sick time on COVID. I used a lot of it though, because it were just days I just couldn't work. I felt so bad. But yeah, I was extremely fatigued. I remember there was one day that I was working and I texted my boss and I said, I really have to stop working right now. Like, because I had chest pains that just came out of nowhere. I wasn't even coughing like with the chest pains. I was still coughing, but it wasn't the cough that was causing chest pains. It was just sharp chest pains that were like, that it scared me, y'all. It was like in my chest, of course, and then I just felt like I was about to faint. And so I called my boss and I was like, I need to stop right now. Like I can't do anymore. I really don't feel good. And she was like, okay, and so I immediately and as soon as I got done texting her, I went to sleep and I was knocked out for like 4 hours because and it's not like I didn't sleep a lot the night before, because I did, because I went to bed super early because it was hard for me to stay up. So I was extremely fatigued. I had the sharp chest pains when I would cough. I had the sharp chest pains when I didn't cough. I had body aches. I had the fever. I had a sore throat. What else? Let me see. Oh, and I lost my sense of smell, and I lost some of my taste, which is why I knew on Saturday when I just came to the conclusion, I was like, yeah, I have COVID before I even got my test results back, because I lost my sense of smell on that Saturday before I got my test results on Monday. And I was like, yeah, I had never lost my sense of smell before in my life. And so that was weird. That was a weird thing to not be able to smell and not be able to really taste anything unless it was like a boastful flavor. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been dealing with. I had COVID. I feel like so much better, but I will say I still don't feel 100% me. Which, I've been seeing that they've been saying that happens. You have some symptoms that kind of linger and you still don't feel 100% yourself. Like I still have a cough. Oh, I also had runny nose. That was a symptom too. Freaking runny nose. I'd just be sitting here and like snot was just running. I look like Roscoe from Martin. It was gross, y'all. But anyway, what was I saying? I forgot. Oh yeah, I still feel like I'm not like 100% back to myself. Sometimes my throat hurts, but it's not like a burning sensation. It just feels like it's a knot in my throat. And then sometimes I cough on and off. So I'm still, and I forgot to tell y'all, one of the symptoms I had too, headaches. I have never been a person who gets headaches, like ever. Like I told all my friends and my family, I'm like, you know me like forever. Have you ever heard me complain about a headache? And they're like, no, you don't get headaches. I freaking got headaches from COVID. And that is one of the lingering symptoms that I have. I get these little headaches now, and it feels like the little headaches that I got when I was dealing with COVID, and it's so annoying. It's like, I can't even describe it the way it feels, but it's weird for me because I never got headaches. I've just never been a person to have headaches. So that is what I'm still dealing with a little bit. But I'm hoping eventually I would go back to being 100% myself and not having any symptoms, But, like I said, when you think about everything that everybody else has dealt with, the people who have passed away, God bless their souls and their hearts, and the people who are still hospitalized or were hospitalized and they're still at home trying to get some type of normalcy back in how they're feeling and physically, I will say, I know how blessed I am that mine was not like that at all, but yeah, it wasn't a picnic. It wasn't. But I had praying grandmas. I had 2 praying grandmas, and they put me on the prayer list at church. And one of the things I remember like a lot of the experts saying the thing that was killing Black people, because we are dying from this virus at an alarming rate, at a disproportionate rate. One of the things I noticed that a lot of the medical experts were saying is that we were getting blood clots. So y'all, on the days I was so fatigued, and it would be so hard for me to move around without getting out of breath. I was feeling like this weirdness in my lungs, almost like a gurgle. So I would get my butt up. I would walk around and y'all, I would be so out of breath and it would take forever, but I would walk around, like we have an island in our kitchen. I would walk around that island like 5 times. I would walk back to my room. I kept moving. I made sure no matter what that I kept moving, because I was not about to let blood clots set in and take me out. You know what I'm saying? So that was that's an important thing I just want to say to anyone. If you get that, make sure you're moving as much as you can, even when it's hard, even when you just want to lay down because you're so tired, or you're just your head hurt. Listen to your body too, and don't overdo it. But if you can, push yourself to keep moving, because that was important, to not let fluid set in my lungs and to not let blood clots. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, y'all. Excuse me. let blood clots set in because fluid is in my lungs. So that was one of the things I did a lot. My sister made me up a lot of concoctions, who, by the way, did not get it. Praise the Lord. She did not get it. It's crazy. But she also but even though she didn't get it, she had to stay home for 2 weeks because I had it. She had come in contact with someone who had it, so she had to stay home for 2 weeks to make sure that it didn't set in. So my sister made me all these little concoctions. She made me gave me elderberry. She gave me tea. She made me what was it? It was lemon, ginger, and something tea. She was like a little witch doctor. She was making all these, and she was taking her own little concoctions, which is why she still has not gotten sick, thank the Lord. Cause she she an old woman in a young woman's body. So, yeah. So definitely do your old remedies that your grandparents teach you, things like that. As far as prescription, the only thing they prescribed to me was an inhaler, nose, saline, moisturizing saline that you squeeze up your nose. And, they told me to get some, Tylenol, ibuprofen, and Mucinex. And they told me to switch off and on the Tylenol and ibuprofen because you didn't want your body to have too much Tylenol. You didn't want it to have too much ibuprofen. So they had me switching it on and off. So if I took Tylenol this day, the next day I would take ibuprofen. So yeah, that's all they prescribe, y'all, Mucinex, because there's no vaccine, there's no cure, there's no way to really treat it. So yeah, and the Mucinex is supposed to help with the mucus buildup because you have so much mucus build up from it. So it was supposed to help thin it out so it wouldn't be as thick. Cause I would wake up with, this is gross. So if you have a, what do you call it? A sensitive stomach, you may not want to listen to this, but I would wake up and I would have just these balls, thick mucus, I can't even describe it. I would just be and I would hack it up every morning, or in the middle of the night. So, because it causes a ton of mucus buildup. So yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. That's what your girl has been dealing with. That's where I've been. That's why, I have been missing in action. But I'm back. And I am so excited to continue to bring you guys more and more stuff, and talk about, whatever is on my mind, whatever's going on. But you know what, y'all, I'm not gonna lie. It's been kind of hard to honestly kind of get in the mood to really talk about stuff like celebrity gossip because there's just so much going on with the world. You kind of feel like that's trivial, I don't know. What do y'all think? I kind of want to do it because that's my niche. That's what I do. And, I like to talk about different hot topics and things that's going on and that things are trending and things that people are interested in. But also I just kind of feel like it's a little trivial when you look at the times that we're in and there's people dying left and right. And, I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's I know I got to keep going. I got to keep moving and keep doing my life. So I'm just kind of stuck. Y'all let me know what y'all think below on what to do. Because I do want to keep doing my vlog and, talking to you guys and reading your comments. Even though I'm talking to myself, technically, I'm talking to you guys, but I'm talking to myself right now. But I like reading your comments and just kind of knowing what you think about things. Yeah, and that's about it. I just want to hear from y'all. I miss y'all so much. I really enjoy chit-chatting with myself, to chit-chat with y'all, to just talk about what's going on. And, but yeah, that's all I really had to talk about. I don't really have anything else. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little update, let you know what's been going on with me. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. I love you guys so much and I appreciate you for being loyal, even though you haven't heard from me in 2 months. And like I said, I'm going to do so much better and I'm going to try to have my best to have an episode for you once a week. Just, having fun, talking about serious stuff if we need to do that, and just speaking my mind and just letting y'all know what's going on up in this head, this curly head. But anyway, I appreciate you again so much, and I will catch you guys next time. Thank you so much again for just being a loyal friend and watching another episode of Undeniably Nikki. Bye, guys.